We've got 2 Batmobiles in the lobby, guys, and if you can read, you'll know why everybody's so excited about this show match. It's time for Fairy Peak to... I'm going to queue up online. Let's go. Now, it's time for Fairy Peak to try and defend his streak. He's undefeated on my stream for over a year of show matches. 15 series in a row he has won, and in those 15 series his win-loss ratio is 49 wins and 9 losses. So the first match in this series is going to be a pretty cool one, because if Fairy Peak wins it, he's hit 50 wins before he hits 10 losses in his last 59 games, where Fairy Peak is down for the best of 7, which I'm suggesting because this is going to be a money match. We've already got 200 quid. Include the Rex money in that pot. XD, you include... Yeah, I'm just going to tell Scrub to include his Rex money in the pot. Apparently gifted 50 tier 3 subs by this incredible Matt, who's been blessing us on stream today. I really appreciate that. And all the support from you guys. Now, if you do want a shout out, don't worry, I will be distributing those at the end of this show match. But for now, just because I have an inkling that we're going to fall behind on alerts and there's no point in trying to keep up, let's just watch this series, enjoy it, and then once we're done, I will catch up on all the alerts that I've missed. Appreciate all of you guys for the support today. It is Fairy Peak versus Scrubkilla. It's Scrubkilla's 5th attempt at beating Fairy Peak in a series on my stream. He's never done it before. He's beaten Fairy Peak in 1 series ever, and that was a best of 3 in a tournament, which he then later went on to lose to that same man. So Fairy Peak's really never lost a big series to Fairy Peak. Look at this, or to Scrubkilla rather. Look at this by Fairy. Chips his center, bumps Scrub out of the way, and puts it into the open goal for the first. That's 1 bump, 2 bump, 3 bumps actually by Fairy to get things started. Let's F1 that clip. It might pop up in the chat in about 2 or 3 minutes. Now, Fairy Peak's been dominating kickoffs against the majority of his opponents that he's faced recently on my stream. He's been decimating people from the start of every single play till the end. And Scrubkilla, I think, is the only player these days who I would put in to a series against Fairy Peak and expect to see come out with, you know, more than a game. I think Ixo did very well to take 2 in the best of 7 against Fairy. That was definitely a surprise, and I was impressed by that result. However, that's mainly talking about European players, obviously, because Fairy Peak doesn't get many opportunities to play against American players. With how difficult it is these days to play cross-server, he doesn't venture over to US East very often. Last time he did, he beat Kurnovi though, so he can do it. And of course, he eliminated Lethemir in the 12 Titans. That was a best of 1, but he has, I think, got what it takes to be the favorite in absolutely any matchup. Scrubkilla recently has taken down Squishy a couple of times in private matches, so that's the only high level EU versus NA that I've seen recently. Fairy Peak so far dictating the play, controlling the boost, and controlling the ball. Scrubkilla has struggled to get involved, but that being said, he's only down by a goal. Good boosting by Fairy Peak there to get the ball as far away from Scrub as possible, but it didn't get it far enough because Scrubkilla with a quick turnaround ties things up. Efficiency from the ground by Scrub. That's a really nice half flip. Great recovery, and the open net finish is going to make it a 1-goal or a 1-all game. Why do you do name and password matches? Because there used to be a bug with party matches where people would just get kicked from the party and then get kicked from the lobby. I don't know if it still exists, but it doesn't really make a difference, you know. Nobody knows the password. I don't even know what the password is to this lobby, so it's safe enough. That's a little bit careless by Scrub now. Snatched it a little bit from the near post with that shot. And that is actually one of Scrub's key weaknesses. You guys know that I do love to talk about Fairy Peak and Scrubkilla's strengths because they are, I think, the 2 strongest 1v1 players in the world at the moment. But one of Scrub's weaknesses is this little corner area. When he's in the offensive corner, he can struggle to keep power and height on his shots. That's not something that Fairy Peak has any difficulty with. 3-1 Fairy, by the way. Another quick turnaround. He catches Scrub in the middle of a dodge. Again, Scrub caught off guard by Fairy Peak's quick transition from defense to offense. Now, if you want to ask me what can Scrub do to improve his conversion rate in terms of chances to goals while he's in the opposition corner, I think the #1 thing he could add to his game would be side flip shots. He doesn't do enough side flip shots. He leans into a lot of his half volleys and volleys when he's in the opposition corner, and by that I mean he's doing a diagonal dodge in the forward direction, whereas you'll see Fairy Peak doing a lot of side flips, and of course that keeps the front end of the car a lot higher and gets more lift onto the ball, transfers a lot more of your momentum into the ball. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Will Scrub have a better conversion rate. And of course, the only exception to that that weakness is, of course, on kickoff. Scrubkilla loves to cut the ball inside and half volley more from the edge of the box rather than the corner area. He's very strong in that regard. He's still dodged there by Fairy Peak. Look at that. Blindly avoiding Scrubkilla's demolish. If you take a quick look at the shots, it's fairly even. Fairy Peak's conversion rate is just that little bit higher than Scrub's. Scrubkilla's been trying to do his patented style, just taking shot after shot after shot and hoping that eventually the opposing team's goalkeeper can't keep his offense at bay. But right now, Fairy Peak is not having any difficulty doing just that. He's managing to break down Scrubkilla's offense very quickly, actually. And it's not giving Scrub that time to set up, 9-10 shots in a single offensive play. That is very, very hard to stop, though. Scrubkilla with a double touch from such close range. Really good acceleration on the ball there. Fairy was fooled into thinking the first shot was on target after Scrubkilla got the first, or it was actually the second touch midair. Hopefully we got that clip sent for Twitch chat with F1. I was a little bit late on it, but I tried. Bump off the wall by Scrub. He's getting revenge for earlier on in the game, and he is going to convert this time. These guys are really playing a smart game in the opposition back wall. We saw Fairy do this earlier. He just goes for a bump and lets the ball center itself. This is something you could do in your own games, whether it be 1s, 2s or 3s. If the ball's centering slowly, you don't really have many options in terms of increasing the threat level of that ball. Then feel free to drive ahead of it and bump opposing team defenders off the wall, because no doubt they're going to drive up on that wall and try to clear it. Scrubkilla will secure boost and the ball, but his heavy touch is going to take away the opportunity. He's adapted wonderfully though, and now a dish is all that separates him from a 1-goal game. Doesn't even need to do it. Fairy Peak spawned on the far side, and it is a 1-goal game with 53 seconds left. Scrubkilla on the comeback trail. Fairy Peak, despite the fact that he's been in control for the majority of this game, must be a little bit worried right now. Scrubkilla has to keep this out from close range. He can't do it. The Fairy Peak does drop the wow in the chat. He's going to watch this one again in the replay, and as am I. Scrubkilla may have been this. Again, leaning his car forward as he tries to get that side angle on the ball. I really do think a side flip might have favoured him better there. It's the one thing I want to see more from Scrub's offense. I've said this so many times in the past. Side flip shots, side flip pops. Does Scrubkilla really have his dodge here? Doesn't look like he landed on the ceiling. And look at the distance Fairy's able to get. Even that small touch is all it took to completely stop Scrub's offense there. If he'd done a softer save, which would have happened in many situations from other different players around the world, they would have tried to stop Scrub's offense there, saved the shot, but left the ball in a really dangerous position, and Scrub would have scored with a follow-up. That's how Scrub gets so many goals, with consistent pressure. He just continues to attack shot after shot after shot. But when the quality of defensive touches is as good as it is from Fairy Peak, it doesn't give Scrub the opportunities to continue attacking like he loves to do, and that is going to be 1-0 for Fairy. He's got the 50 wins before 10 losses. That is absolutely ridiculous from Fairy. In his past now 16 series that he's played on my stream, the win-loss ratio in games is 50 wins and 9 losses, and that's been against premium opponents. I showed you guys this last time that Fairy Peak played on my stream, but if you go down the top 100 from the very top, who I believe is currently Fairy Peak for Europe in the 1v1 leaderboard, and you pause at every single European player that you see, Fairy Peak's beaten them in a series on my stream. Every single one of them. And if not every single one of them, he's beaten someone who's beaten that player. He is definitely the top dog right now. Love to see him in matchups like a series against Lethamyr, a series against Squishy, a series against Dapper, all these guys. But until the servers do improve, until we get the Mid-Atlantic server, we're going to have to wait with those ones. Nice shot there by Scrub, catching Fairy Peak off guard. But that might be the trick for Scrubkilla. He might have to change things up a little bit, go for more direct goals instead of going for consistent pressure. You might just have to try and catch Fairy off guard. A little bit of ball chasing here by Scrub is not going to pull any surprise onto Fairy. Really good 50-50 by Fairy. Of course, he had the boost advantage there. It didn't matter really if that one went badly. Fairy's not beaten Kux in a series. No, he's not beaten Kux in a series. I would love to see that rematch when Kux is back in shape. He's been playing a little bit of ones recently. He's back on the top 100. But I think I would give Fairy the advantage there. Good control by Scrub. And this is something we have seen more from Scrub since he started playing the Batmobile. It's these just allowing the car to do the work there. He didn't use his dodge, he just placed it. And it was a quick placement, even though it was a placement of the ball. Fairy Peak this time, trying to catch Scrub off guard with a little bit of ball chasing. Very good. Probably the best player in the world at identifying weakness in a defensive player is Fairy Peak. The moment that he realizes you've hesitated, he's going to close the distance. But this time Scrub is just too good. And the mind game is going to keep Fairy Peak back. It doesn't look like much, but this is enough of a fake shot for Fairy Peak to back off, anticipating Scrub to shoot there. And Scrub Killer correctly anticipating Fairy Peak, who was also trying to change up his defense. He's gone for a couple of rushes in a row, then that time shadowing. Scrub Killer got a hard read on that one. And Fairy Peak just with a hard re in defense. He can't be too happy with how things are going right now. Not sure what happened to Fairy Peak's car there. Looks like the ball stomped him back onto the ground. Scrub might be trying to match Fairy Peak's playstyle here. Both of the players are accepting 50-50s pretty willfully at the moment. I do think that over a best of 7 series, that's probably a playstyle that's going to favour Fairy Peak, because out of these two players, Fairy Peak is not the one who's going to get annoyed when 50-50s don't go in his favour. I've rarely, if ever, seen Fairy Peak tilted or annoyed at pretty much any situation in Rocket League. Scrub Killer, we know, can get a little bit temperamental at times. Although, saying that, he's not streaming at the moment, as far as I know. That should give him an edge over Fairy. We all know he can concentrate more, and he doesn't have the danger of looking over at his Twitch chat and seeing 50 Omega Lulz to throw him off. At the moment, Scrub Killer's doing a pretty good job. He's keeping his boost total up really high, and that's a good read on the setup Fairy was going for. Fairy Peak's still going directly down the middle. If Scrub Killer can keep him at bay for much longer, he might be able to sneak in a counter-attack goal, because Fairy Peak can get desperate when he has difficulty scoring in this sort of position, as does pretty much any player in the world. Did the gift your game thing work? Is that GIF a good one, or is it a bad one? There we go. Fairy actually increasing the level of risk that he's gone for in his last offensive play. He landed in front of the ball, which is not where you want to do if you're trying to make a comeback consistently. Scrub Killer has really backed off so far here, though, and Fairy Peak's placement is too good. Or is it? Scrub Killer almost had a chance to keep it out. Did gift your game actually come through? Is it a good goal? You know, I've got to give credit to Scrub Killer's positioning in the goal there. He made that pretty hard for Fairy to put it behind him. But Fairy Peak has drilled it off the post. In fact, off both posts, and the third post, because it hit one of the posts twice. Scrub Killer looking for the bump. Fairy Peak's so fast over the top of him, though, and this could be the tie game. He will bury this one. And good signs for Fairy Peak fans, because one of the things Fairy struggled with recently in show matches against opponents who weren't really posing too much of a threat to him was open net finishing. He got a little bit careless, but he is on point today. And there's an early flick over the top of an early challenging Scrub. And just like that, Fairy Peak takes the lead, which Scrub's been holding on to all game long. You can see there how much boost Scrub has invested in the kickoff. He's trying so hard to win that kickoff, and when it doesn't go in his favour, he's got none left to defend with. This time he saved 14, so he can get that challenge in, but it's still not going to be enough, because Fairy Peak absorbs it and walks the ball into the open net. 5-3 Fairy Peak. We're going to have to take a look at this replay later on and see what on earth Fairy Peak is doing on kickoffs to make this look so easy. It is a Batmobile mirror, of course, and when Scrub was the king of kickoffs back in the day, it was mainly with the Octane. Has Fairy Peak found a way to beat Scrub? Looks like Scrub might have been trying to dodge into that shot, but his dodge might have timed out. See him leaning into it regardless. It is still a good idea to lean into your shots like that with the air roll. It's a dodge motion, albeit less powerful. What a turnaround we've seen in Game 2 here, though. Scrub may indeed be tilted. Of course, the silver lining to the cloud of potentially losing to Fairy Peak, again, is that he gets to be in Fairy Peak's team for the next season of RLCS. But wow, would you look at that, Fairy Peak. 7-3. 6 goals in a row against Scrubkilla. I don't think Scrub's had a say in just about any of them. Save the replays. I tried to save this one. I've told myself to save it. Got the reminder. Scrubkilla drops the ball behind him on this air dribble. Fairy Peak flops the wave dash. That's something we don't really see Fairy Peak do very often, especially compared to other top tier players, is wave dashing. He prefers to just land consistently more often. Because even if you do mess up a wave dash one time, that can be a goal to the other player. Fairy Peak is just going to walk this one in. Scrubkilla is all over the place. He needs a hard reset right now, and he needs it badly. Jumps up in the complete wrong direction, and he's nothing more than a flopping spectator at the near post there. I've seen Grandmother's goal keep better than that, and I don't think that game 2 is now within Scrub's grasp. With that goal going in the manner in which it went in, he is in such a bad spot. The one thing he needs to try and do is figure out what Fairy Peak is doing on kickoff to beat him. And we know that Scrub does adapt his kickoff mid-series. He's talked about this a lot on his own stream, that he can change things up. If he realizes he's losing a lot of kickoffs with his classic hook style, then he'll switch it up and go for a more pushing variation. I wouldn't mind seeing him go for fake kickoffs and really try and switch things up, but that being said, got to be so convincing with those fake kickoffs. We've seen many players in the past go for fake kickoffs in the diagonal spawn and really not sell it to their opponent at all, turning around really early, jumping way too early with the fake, faking a dodge by jumping early. So if Scrub does decide to go for a fake, it has to be a good one. Appreciate all of the alerts that are popping off in my ear while the series continues, guys. Gonna shout you all out name for name after this series is over, but if you can't stay till then you'll probably have to catch it on the video on demand. Don't think it'll reach the YouTube. Don't think it'll reach YouTube, I should say. The shoutouts portion of the stream.
Love the channel, Johnny. Even my wife will watch now. She knows nothing of Rocket League, but she does like your voice.
Aww.
Keep up the excellent work.
That's really nice to hear. Somebody who doesn't know anything about Rocket League still can put up with me. What a challenge there by 30, but Scrub's adapted into a block. No way, if Scrub had actually scored that, I would have been so impressed. Fairy Peak was up so early to intercept his ceiling shot, and exactly how you want to defend ceiling shots is with an early challenge in 1v1. You don't want to give your opponent time to kind of float down to the goal behind the ball with the possibility of dodging into it and shooting at any moment. But despite that fact, Scrub was still able to create half a chance for himself. Fairy Peak misses the dish off the back wall. Scrub still up by a goal. He started strongly in both this game and the last, but we all saw what happened once Fairy Peak really started the ball rolling in his favor. The good thing to note so far for Scrub is that he did get a kickoff goal. That's really big because of how badly kickoffs have been going. Decides to go for another air dribble.
Boy, Johnny, boy.
No bump attempt at the end of it.
9 months. We have practically had a Rocket League baby together, and it's a wonderful thing. Timing this perfectly. Oh my goodness, big chance. What a goal by Fairy Peak.
Not quite. Not quite. It was on a shot. I was like, hold on, this might be a good chance. It turns out you were about 20 seconds too early on that one. So good try. Oh no, everybody's gonna try Brian commentary now, aren't they? Everybody's gonna try and time it. Time their
I love
alerts.
the series. Can Fairy coach me?
Can Fairy coach you? I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know. Maybe Fairy Peak would do coaching if the money was sufficient. He doesn't strike me as the coaching type though. Not as much as Scrub strikes me as the boost greeting type. What is that, Scrub? Where are you going, mate? Your goal's the other way. He's just ran into the corner. And if there's one way to lose a tie game, that's it. Just run into the boost steal in a 1v1 against Fairy.
What should I do other than blaming my teammates?
Stuck in plat? What should you do? I've got a video about that, so you can check out my video. How to best tips for ranking up through plat. Number one, just stop blaming your teammates. You've identified it yourself. That's going to really hold you back. Now listen, guys, I had Scrubkilla losing this one before the series even started. That's not to say I've scripted it or anything. I've told these guys what to do. I just mean I reckon Fairy is the favourite by a significant margin. My goodness, he is quick, isn't he? Scrub Killer trying to sit back and just wait for Fairy to be done hitting the ball, but that just doesn't seem to happen. Fairy Peak straight away back up. And even with the 15-year-old reactions, that's right now, Scrub is 15 years old. Even with 15-year-old reactions, Scrub Killer can't possibly get up quick enough to keep that one out. Maybe that's what the problem is for Scrub. He used to save those reactionally, but now he's so old that he can't. And what on earth is this by Scrub?
Here's some gingerly
Goodbye
for
to 60
Fairy.
boost. Just really is not creating consistent enough challenges or chances for himself. Fairy Peak is doing exactly that at the other end. Look at that by Fairy. Having his dodge in that challenge. Punished Scrub, who did not. And the open net, yet again, gets secured for the Frenchman. Scrub Killer with another strong kickoff. He has done really well in adapting his kickoff. Very interesting game 2 and 3 here if you want to watch. See what Scrub has done differently, then just go back and watch this series. You can look at every single kickoff and see what his plan was, how he saw Fairy lining up. I might go back and do that myself later, as these two guys are really going toe to toe here in terms of kickoffs. But I'll tell you what, 50-50s are so one-sided right now. Fairy Peak again dominant throughout. And there it is, the dodge against someone who refuses to dodge. Scrub Killer again just sitting in front of the ball, doesn't want to dodge into it, and Fairy Peak gets as solid a first contact and follows it up with a dodge. That's why he's winning these challenges. Of course, it can be risky to commit into a dodge in case you go too high. But if you can dodge into the middle of the ball like Fairy's doing, then it doesn't really matter what the opponent does. You're probably going to win most of the time. And again, he wins it. Now, I'll tell you guys a little bit of history about Fairy Peak and something that he said in the past about 50-50s and how he wins 50-50s in particular. And it's all a mentality thing. You might have heard me say this on stream before, but he doesn't try to win 50-50s as much as he tries to not lose them. So Fairy Peak rarely gets punished hard in a 50-50 situation, whereas his opponents, who might try their hardest to get a win in a 50-50, can end up losing really, really badly if their plan doesn't succeed. So that's what Fairy really tries to do, or at least it's what he used to try to do. I'm not sure if that's still his mentality for 50-50s in a 1v1 situation. But look at that by Scrub, the mind game. He's even delaying the shot a little bit. And a my fault by Scrub. He's trying to get inside the head of the man who's almost untiltable, or appears to be untiltable in the past. Can Scrub do this? He's trying to make a comeback. As impressive as Fairy had last series, or last game, but it just doesn't look like it's going to be easy for him, does it? Fairy Peak makes it 2-goal game yet again. Great transition from the ground to the air there by Fairy. He just flicks it so soon. As soon as the ball is on top of his car, he's already flicking it. That's how you want to do, pretty much. And it's a really easy thing to replicate that situation is in free play. If you just drive into the ball as it's on the ground, you have to reset the shot so the ball's fully on the ground and not floating a little bit. Just drive into the ball and then flick immediately. You will be able to replicate what Fairy just did. Look at this aggression by Scrub. I can't really agree with this strategy. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think this is incredibly over risky. No backup plan, no getaway plan, pretty much no plan whatsoever other than, well, maybe I can bump Fairy off the back wall. But as you can see, Fairy Peak with the boost advantage there was always going to be the favorite. Fairy might just try and replicate what we just saw. He's going to delay the flick this time. My word, he's boomed it though. 9-5. Fairy Peak putting on a clinic for Batmobile flicks. It doesn't even matter that this was close to Scrub when it's going that quick. He's up by 4 yet again. The win streak just doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. Not just a series win streak, but his game win streak. This is absurd by Fairy Peak. I said earlier on, before we started this show match, that Scrub would still be the player I would go to choose if, let's say, I had to pick someone to beat Fairy Peak in a series. It would probably still be Scrub. Scrub or Leftomir, I reckon, would be the two players that I'd have to choose between. Because Scrub's been the only player who's really looked like he could beat Fairy in a series on my stream, even though he's never done it. He's been close. A couple of 4-3s, a couple of 4-2s, a lot of very close games. Whereas other players just lose so easily to this man. But that's just not how today's gone at all. It's been so easy for Fairy Peak to have his way in this show match. Luckily for Scrub, it is a best of 7. He still has a chance to get the reverse sweep. Can't stop the K-Dop. Well, actually, Fairy Peak can. Fairy Peak has never lost a K-Dop on my stream. So that's not a high percentage play or high percentage choice either. What about Cuxer? Cuxer, you know, he's an option, but I don't. Not right now. Current form Cux, probably not. But yeah, Fairy Peak would probably be the favourite against just about anybody, I reckon. The fact that Lethemir and Dapper and Cux haven't really been playing much ones recently means Scrub would probably be the best choice in my opinion, but maybe if Cux or Leth or Dapper, you know, grinded their way back up to the top of the leaderboard. Scrubkill says he's getting jam. Yeah, like I was saying, maybe if one of those former 1v1 gods, if they can grind ones, they might come back.
This is Rocket League, 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 this is Rocket League.
Let me just read what Scrub said to Fairy here. So the conversation goes, be right back, getting jam, says Scrub. Fairy says no problem. I don't know why he's getting jam for. So you're just going to get a jam jar and start scooping it out? Is this his like fuel for Rocket League? It's going to be nomming on jam. And then reverse sweep, okay, says Scrub. And Fairy Peak says you're kicked if you do that. So I'd read that for all of you guys who are watching on mobile and only see pixels in the top left hand corner of the screen. I'm still going to wait with all the alert shoutouts till the end of this series, boys.
It's probably a better bet to win versus Fairy Peak than Scrub at this point.
Ixo's probably a better bet against Fairy than Scrub at this point. Listen, it's not over till it's over.
Culture develop. These 1v1 matches and the other matches make me want to improve and show people how cool RL is.
Yes, that's what I think as well. 1v1 in Rocket League is an still, I think, largely untapped resource. It's one of the most exciting ways to watch Rocket League, I think. If we had a 1v1 LAN with as much production quality as RLCS, I reckon it would be I'm not saying it would be better, but it would be close. It might be at times better. Obviously RLCS season 5 was the best one we've seen, the best grand final, but I think we could see those highs. Like some of the 1v1 matches I've casted, if those were in the copper box with that crowd, people would lose their minds. I've seen way better comebacks in 1v1 than I've seen in 3v3. That's the biggest advantage ones has, is there's more crazy comebacks. And it's not all about kickoff goals, as some of you guys who've watched those comebacks happen live will know. If we had a 1v1 LAN that big, it would be unbelievable. It would be like unbelievable for esports, not just for Rocket League. Guys, I really appreciate all these alerts. I don't know what to say. Oh, nice shot by Scrub. He's managed to dive bomb Fairy here and completely take him out of the play. Getting that extra few touches in the ball helped him as well, because without those, the ball might not have reached the goal line before Fairy's recovering. Obviously, Fairy's getting bumped into his goal line there by Scrub. But he can recover it in the back of the goal if he lands well. Scrub, he prevented that from happening by getting an extra few touches in the ball, speeding the ball along, so he can fly right in front of it. He might go for it again here. Can Fairy Peak find an answer to this? Scrub's going to fake it, go down to the ground, pops it over the bar though. And it is still Fairy Peak in the lead. Scrubkilla needs to win this game and 3 more if he wants to win this series. Does he believe in himself to do this at this point? We all know Scrub's a very confident guy, a very successful guy in Rocket League, and especially in 1v1. But does he believe that he can do this? He's lost 4 series in a row on my stream to Fairy. He's even lost another big best of 5 series to Fairy. But that flip reset! He can really swing the momentum strongly in his favor. Look at that by Scrubkill at close range. Flip reset on the ball. Flick over the top of Fairy Peak, who was not ready for that one. That's an F1. That's a clip. Hopefully that one's going to come up in the chat. If you do see a link from Gift Your Game in the chat in about 2 minutes, then be sure to click it. You can watch that goal over and over again and repeat later on. One of the best flip resets that we've seen in a 1v1 show match on my stream, if not the best, especially against such a great opponent. Scrubkill like going to the air yet again. He's trying to bump Fairy, but Fairy's too quick. Scrubkill with a boost steal. He's going to keep the pressure on. Might go for another demolish attempt. Fairy is aware of that though, and he runs away. This time Fairy has so much boost. He's trying to cut the ball across Scrub's weak spot, but Scrub has intercepted him And he's got a wide open net. Can he get it into the goal? Yes, he can. And that is key. So Scrub had missed that one. I reckon his entire chance of making a comeback happen would be out the window. That would be so tilting for the young man. But as things stand, Scrubkilla is definitely popping off right now. He's kind of thrown caution to the wind. He's decided, you know what? I've been kind of dipping in and out of cautious play style for this series. Let's just go all in and annihilate Fairy Peak. 4-2. 4 goals in a row. And another demolished goal. Fairy Peak needs to try and do something against this. Starting to wonder to himself, when did Jesse switch to the Batmobile and change his name to Scrubkilla? This is unbelievable by Scrub. And at least if he is going to lose this series, he's putting up a ridiculous fight in Game 4. Bet he wishes now that it was 50 seconds left instead of 2 minutes and 50 seconds. He's running all the way back to his goal. Fairy Peak again flicking it, but this time high. Scrubkilla open net from distance, air rolls to get an additional bit of power. And surely find the back of the net. Yes, he has. And the beach balls bounced all over Manfield Knight yet again. 5-2. The jam did the trick, boys. The jam was the solution for Scrub. I just hope he brought enough jam to last him a 4-game comeback, because if he runs out of jam after Game 3, that would be such a shame. Right now, I just imagine he's sitting in his room, face is plastered in jam, his fingers are covered in jam, his controller's covered in jam, probably got some jam on his monitor, but it doesn't matter. When he's got it, you know, in his body as well, it's doing the job. It's getting him fired up. Alright, I don't know if you guys have this this slang in whichever countries you guys are from, but if you're jammy, then it means you're lucky. Sounds like something Australians might say. You definitely say that in Scotland. I've heard people say it in Ireland before. Maybe in England. But yeah, if you're jammy, then you're just lucky. So that could be what Scrub's going for. He's just trying to increase his luck a little bit. So as we all know, Rocket League is a 100% luck-based game. Later on today, we're going to be doing a completely skill-based game, Marble Racing. So stick around for that if you want to see more skill, less luck. For the time being, though, we're just going to stick with luck-based game. Fairy Peak getting a bit unlucky. Look at that luck by Scrub, though. He saved it off the inside of his own post, and it's going on target. Quick recovery by Fairy. We'll keep that one out, though. I'll tell you what, a minute has gone, and Scrub's actually improved his lead by 2 goals. And now he's in a really good spot. Got to be careful, though.
Scrub.
1 goal for Fairy could change everything. We saw that happen in Game 2. Scrub was up by a couple. And then Fairy scored 6 in a row. Right now, though, everything Fairy does is kind of falling short of the near post. Scrubkilla is not looking threatened at all. A little bit of power lacking from that side flip shot. He's going to clatter Fairy into the side boost. Scrub's got to be careful, though. Fairy's got the boost, and he's coming for him. Not sure if it was an intentional dodge off the demolish attempt or a well-timed one, but either way, Scrubkilla got away from Fairy there. And he's almost into the final minute with a 4-goal lead. Drives straight past the ball and into Fairy. You know, if 50-50s aren't going well for you, why not just drive past the ball and into your opponent? Scrubkilla definitely feeling confident now. He's looking for another demolish onto Fairy. Committing a lot of boost for these plays, but so long as he can keep up his ball pressure when he's out of boost, he should be okay. That's a great placement on the shot, though, by Fairy. He's found the goal that he's been looking for. Johnny hid the script in the jam. The Scrub's like digging out the script at the bottom of the jam jars. That's what's happening. Fairy Peak way off to the side there in that kickoff. I'm not sure if that was a fast kickoff attempt or an accident. I've got to think it was an accident, because he should know that Scrub's not going to let a fast kickoff go past him. This will be another goal for Scrub. Surely now Scrub can just cross the finish line, get a game on the board, and hopefully he can build on that for all the Scrub fans in the chat. For all the Fairy fans, maybe a little bit of concern starting to creep in. Maybe heart rates are starting to rise a little bit. Scrubkilla with good placement on the ceiling shot and a good recovery as well. That's the key. So he didn't take himself out of the game to get that ceiling shot on target for Fairy Peak's net. He stayed involved. He's still very much a part in the follow-up play, and it's been the aggression that's allowed Scrub to come back in here. He's let his guard down a little bit at the end there. But overall, a fantastic game for Scrub. Great confidence. That's what we needed to see from him. If he's got any chance to win the series, he needs to believe that he can do it for a start. Because if he doesn't believe that he can do it, there is no chance. But that was a game for Scrub. Very, very good game at that. And he's almost got the goal in 0 seconds. In fact, he has. What a finish by Scrub. And the clips just keep rolling in. How many touches did he get on this one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Squashing it into the wall. And the backflip to finish. What a game by Scrub. Now, I'll tell you, not many people could come back from losing 3 games in a row and do what Scrub just did to Fairy Peak. I am very impressed. I'm going to try and quickly write this one down so I can hit ready to get into the next game, because these guys are both ready for it. I'm definitely ready for it. Are we going to have more games for Scrub? It's actually Fairy Peak who got into the orange team first there. He kind of wants a shot at the orange team, but Scrub, not interested.
Fairies, doesn't he stream?
I don't think Fairy Peak does stream. His internet's pretty bad. I wish he would stream. He's one of those players who wouldn't need a microphone. He wouldn't need to be on Facecam. I reckon he would just get people watching. He'd probably have anime music playing, because he does. He likes Osu. Now, obviously, if you like Osu, you like anime. Yukio likes Osu, doesn't he? I think he does. Not a good start here for Scrub. He's going to have to accept the fact that he's being boost starved by Fairy Peak, who's just dribbling the ball across the box, taking not just the big boost pads, but the small ones as well. And he'll try to turn around as quickly as possible here. Because the faster he can turn, the less boost Scrub will be on. But Scrub's done really well, actually. He's pathed over to about 4 pads there, with a small variety. You see, everything that Scrub does right now, unless he's got the idea that he's going to be able to close the distance onto Fairy, he's just dodging around, saving his boost. This time he will get the turnover. Another demolish going in Scrub's favor. That's the one aspect of the game that he's been dominating, especially in game 4. He's got to focus on that, I believe. Get more air dribble demos. As risky as they are, that's the strongest that he's looked, and the weakest that he's made Fairy Peak look is with those air dribble demolishes. And with the, even just off the ball demo plays, 12 boost for Scrub. Fairy Peak sitting at a much higher total. Can he roll this one in? He's going to try, but Scrub killer with a beautiful save. Decided to air roll 180 degrees backwards, then front flip into the ball. Half flipping would not have done the job, so really well done there by Scrub. Keep Fairy Peak out, but he can't keep him out on the follow-up attack. He got a little bit too close here. I think Scrub was thinking about challenging. And he didn't take the most efficient line back to goal. He was really high up on the wall there. If he wasn't going to challenge, he should not be that high up on the wall. Fairy Peak took the direct route, as he so often does. And once again, Scrub Killer going to have to come back from behind. The 50-50s from Fairy still looking so strong. Scrub Killer with a great recovery though, half flipping through the ball. And he's managed to squeeze it in as well. Beautiful by Scrub on the deck. And it all started with this half flip here. It's not a straight 180 degree half flip. It started off with a diagonal dodge to the back, and then he just straightened it up. Make Fairy weep and give Scrub the reverse sweep. You guys, what on earth is this spam? I've never seen that one before. It almost rhymes with Fairy Peak. What save by Scrub. Close range Fairy Peak flicks have been so impressive today, but Scrub Killer doesn't just keep Fairy out, he's counter-attacked and scored. Fairy Peak getting punished for the boost starvation and the hesitation. Couple of mistakes for Fairy there. So rare to see Fairy overextend, never mind in 2 different aspects of the game. And Scrub Killer bounce dribble off the wall. Fairy Peak ball chases. He's got a chance to shoot this one. He's just going to roll it at Scrub though. Tried maybe to get that ball to bounce up into the air off the side wall. Or the back wall, I should say. Scrub Killer was right there, so I don't think Fairy got what he was looking for. Fairy Peak's got to be so careful. He almost don't gold that one. Scrub looking for a demolish on the back wall in that situation. He's trying to play to his strengths. He's identified, as have we all, that bumps and demos have been his strong point, and perhaps a weak point for Fairy. You know, he's not been able to catch out Fairy too many times, but he has caught him out, and that's the key. You don't catch out Fairy very often with just about anything in Rocket League. So if you catch him out once, remember what you did. Maybe try and do something similar, or just replicate. So Fairy Peak is going to use most of his boost here to get this ball clear. But he's done well, giving himself time to pick up 100 in the corner. Scrub Killer still zooming around the field. He's using so much boost in every single attack. And a bit too linear there was Scrub. Beating Fairy Peak to the air, and he's still got 29 boost. Is he going to get the rebound? Yes, he is. Scrub Killer 3-1. And Fairy Peak looking a little bit sluggish in Game 5. I have to say, Scrub Killer is definitely the player with all the momentum on his side. And I couldn't be happier for him, because at least he's making a series out of this. That's a kickoff goal for Scrub. Straight into the net. What year is this? Is this 2016? It's been a while since we've seen some of those. Fairy Peak nowhere near goal side. And he's down by 3. I don't think we've seen Fairy Peak come back from 3 goals down to take a lead. He did come back from 2 goals down in Game 2. But after going 4 goals down in Game 4, he never looked like he was really going to make the comeback happen. Scrub's going to be kicking himself. I reckon he was trying to backflip there, not double jump. The backflip would have flung the ball much harder into his crossbar. and made the follow-up shot for Fairy. I think too difficult. Oh my goodness, Scrub with a terrible turn. Is he an oil tanker? Or is he a Batmobile? What was this by Scrub? He's trying to dodge onto the boost, but he completely misses it, and now it's a 1-goal game. Scrubkilla needs to forget about those mistakes and focus on the task ahead. He's got 1 minute and 33 seconds to hold off the best ones player on the planet, at least in terms of form and recent results. And not just that, but the player who's been his nemesis, the thorn in his side for the longest time. Great respawn on the boost pickup by Scrub. He timed that one to perfection. He's got to be so careful though. Fairy Peak is trying to disguise the fact that he still had some boost there. Scrubkilla with a great 50-50. Is that just going in? It's off the post and in. And Fairy Peak gets punished for walking into one of the most dangerous things you can do in Rocket League. That is trying 50-50 the ball across the face of an opponent. Doesn't matter what game mode you're playing in, 1s, 2s, 3s, you don't want to do that. If you walk into a dunk, the ball might just fly into your goal. Fairy Peak again with a strong kickoff possession. He's shot this one so high though. There's no way Scrub's going to jump up for this. Scrubkilla won't be able to close the distance though, and Fairy Peak versus the open net will slot it in before Scrub can get back. And I do wonder why on earth Scrub didn't challenge here. He just parked his car sideways, and we all know parallel parking is not really part of Rocket League 1v1. If it was, I would be very happy though. I used to love parallel parking. That was like the maneuver I was good at when I was doing my driving test back in the day, which was over 10 years ago, by the way. I can't believe that. I did my driving test over 10 years ago.
YouTube.
How old am I?
Just watched the marble race video number 2.
Shot by Fairy.
Keep up the good work, mate.
Yeah, thanks to all of you guys tuning in from YouTube. I appreciate y'all stopping by. That is another huge defensive blunder by Scrub though. Great placement, great power, great timing on the shot by Fairy. Scrubkilla has given him the equalizer there.
Can chat vote to Plaza?
Wait, who's better, Justin or Fairy Peak? In 3s, I'd say Justin recently. But overall, in Rocket League, like if we're talking about just 1s, 2s, 3s ranked, Fairy Peak, he's the best player. If we take just Rocket League as a general thing. We're talking about 3s competitive then, yeah. I'd say, you know, all of NRG and all of Dignitas are just way ahead of everybody right now. Look at that by Fairy. Cuts inside. Scrubkilla did not want to get caught hesitating like he did last time, but he doesn't make contact with the ball. Good adaptation by Fairy. Instead of going straight to the goal like he has been going for large portions of this series, he just turns it out and then turns it in. Scrubkilla needs to run back to goal. Is he going to get back in time? Yes, he is. Shot by Fairy, not quite on target. Scrubkilla does get the flick over the top. Very well done actually there by Scrub against a player who had far more boost in him. But Scrub's got to be careful not to overcommit here. He did this earlier, and now he's in a really awkward spot. I think Fairy's overhit the touch though. That's going to let Scrub get back involved. Fairy Peak with another ball chase. Another center ball. We're going to go to overtime. Fairy Peak 1 goal away from winning the series.
Keep up the great content, Johnny Moore.
Scrubkilla 1 goal away from game 6. It is Fairy Peak with the first play. Scrubkilla has got into a really good position though. Good read by Scrub. He would not have been in a good spot if Fairy Peak went off the wall there, but Scrub was just predicting the fact that he wouldn't. And now here goes Scrub into the air. He's 50-50'd it low, and Fairy Peak is way out the play. Scrubkilla with a really awkward bounce. Can he finish this one? No, he can't. A decent recovery, but he's again got to be so careful. Fairy Peak is going to look to cut in field and shoot that ball into the open net. Again, Fairy Peak has the opportunity. That is a boomer. That could be it. It is it. Fairy Peak has done it yet again. And Scrubkilla made it into a series, but he couldn't take more than a game. Fairy Peak with way too much power, actually forcing an own goal at the near post, but it wouldn't have mattered. Fairy was in the vicinity to tap it in regardless. What a series. What a couple of games we had at the end there for Fairy and Scrub. But at the end of the day, the story's exactly the same. Fairy just doesn't lose. He just doesn't lose series. Doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're Scrub and you can beat pretty much anybody else. Fairy's still going to clatter you. 14 shots in that final game. Really impressive stuff by Fairy. Let me just check what the prize pool's up to. That's the first order of business. 241 quid. Fairy Peak is catching up on Scrubkilla in terms of prize money won in my stream. He is really catching up. I'll just figure out what that is in dollars. There we go. It's $312. So the majority of that's going to go to Fairy, of course. Scrubkilla for second place is going to take $64. Quick math. 248. So yeah, 248 for Fairy. GG's. What a series. Really impressive stuff by both players. But Fairy is still just the best player. I am very impressed. I'm going to try and quickly write this one down so I can hit ready to get into the next game, because these guys are both ready for it. I'm definitely ready for it. Are we going to have more games for Scrub? It's actually Fairy Peak who got into the orange team first there. He kind of wants a shot at the orange team, but Scrub, not interested.
Fairies, doesn't he stream?
I don't think Fairy Peak does stream. His internet's pretty bad. I wish he would stream. He's one of those players who wouldn't need a microphone. He wouldn't need to be on Facecam. I reckon he would just get people watching. He'd probably have anime music playing. He does. He likes Osu. Obviously, if you like Osu, you like anime. Yukio likes Osu, doesn't he? I think he does. Not a good start here for Scrub. He's going to have to accept the fact that he's being boost starved by Fairy Peak, who's just dribbling the ball across the box, taking not just the big boost pads, but the small ones as well. And he'll try to turn around as quickly as possible here. Because the faster he can turn, the less boost Scrub will be on. But Scrub's done really well, actually. He's pathed over to about 4 pads there, with a small variety. You see everything that Scrub does right now, unless he's got the idea that he's going to be able to close the distance onto Fairy. He's just dodging around, saving his boost. This time he will get the turnover. Another demolish going in Scrub's favor. That's the one aspect of the game that he's been dominating, especially in game 4. He's got to focus on that, I believe. Get more air dribble demos. As risky as they are, that's the strongest that he's looked, and the weakest that he's made Fairy Peak look is with those air dribble demolishes. And with the, even just off the ball demo plays, 12 boost for Scrub. Fairy Peak sitting at a much higher total. Can he roll this one in? He's going to try, but Scrub killer with a beautiful save. Decided to air roll 180 degrees backwards, then front flip into the ball. Half flipping would not have done the job, so really well done there by Scrub. Keep Fairy Peak out, but he can't keep him out on the follow-up attack. He got a little bit too close here. I think Scrub was thinking about challenging. And he didn't take the most efficient line back to goal. He was really high up on the wall there. If he wasn't going to challenge, he should not be that high up on the wall. Fairy Peak took the direct route, as he so often does. And once again, Scrub Killer going to have to come back from behind. The 50-50s from Fairy still looking so strong. Scrub Killer with a great recovery though, half flipping through the ball. And he's managed to squeeze it in as well. Beautiful by Scrub on the deck. And it all started with this half flip here. It's not a straight 180 degree half flip. It started off with a diagonal dodge to the back, and then he just straightened it up. Make Fairy weep and give Scrub the reverse sweep. You guys, what on earth is this spam? I've never seen that one before. It almost rhymes with Fairy Peak. What save by Scrub. Close range Fairy Peak flicks have been so impressive today, but Scrub Killer doesn't just keep Fairy out, he's counter-attacked and scored. Fairy Peak getting punished for the boost starvation and the hesitation. Couple of mistakes for Fairy there. So rare to see Fairy overextend, never mind in 2 different aspects of the game. And Scrub Killer bounce dribble off the wall. Fairy Peak ball chases. He's got a chance to shoot this one. He's just going to roll it at Scrub though. Tried maybe to get that ball to bounce up into the air off the side wall. Or the back wall, I should say. Scrub Killer was right there, so I don't think Fairy got what he was looking for. Fairy Peak's got to be so careful. He almost don't gold that one. And Scrub looking for a demolish on the back wall in that situation. He's trying to play to his strengths. He's identified, as have we all, that bumps and demos have been his strong point, and perhaps a weak point for Fairy. You know, he's not been able to catch out Fairy too many times, but he has caught him out. That's the key. You don't catch out Fairy very often with just about anything in Rocket League. So if you catch him out once, remember what you did. Maybe try and do something similar, or just replicate. So Fairy Peak is going to use most of his boost here to get this ball clear. But he's done well, giving himself time to pick up 100 in the corner. Scrub Killer still zooming around the field. He's using so much boost in every single attack. And a bit too linear there was Scrub. Beating Fairy Peak to the air, and he's still got 29 boost. Is he going to get the rebound? Yes, he is. Scrub Killer 3-1. And Fairy Peak looking a little bit sluggish in Game 5. I have to say, Scrub Killer is definitely the player with all the momentum on his side. And I couldn't be happier for him, because at least he's making a series out of this. That's a kickoff goal for Scrub. Straight into the net. What year is this? Is this 2016? It's been a while since we've seen some of those. Fairy Peak nowhere near goal side. And he's down by 3. I don't think we've seen Fairy Peak come back from 3 goals down to take a lead. He did come back from 2 goals down in Game 2. But after going 4 goals down in Game 4, he never looked like he was really going to make the comeback happen. Scrub's going to be kicking himself. I reckon he was trying to backflip there. not double jump. The backflip would have flung the ball much harder into his crossbar, and made the follow-up shot for Fairy, I think, too difficult. Oh my goodness, Scrub with a terrible turn. Is he an oil tanker? Or is he a Batmobile? What was this by Scrub? He's trying to dodge onto the boost, but he completely misses it, and now it's a 1-goal game. Scrubkilla needs to forget about those mistakes and focus on the task ahead. He's got 1 minute and 33 seconds to hold off the best ones player on the planet, at least in terms of form and recent results. And not just that, but the player who's been his nemesis, the thorn in his side for the longest time. Great respawn on the boost pickup by Scrub. He timed that one to perfection. He's got to be so careful though. Fairy Peak is trying to disguise the fact that he still had some boost there. Scrubkilla with a great 50-50. Is that just going in? It's off the post and in. And Fairy Peak gets punished for walking into one of the most dangerous things you can do in Rocket League. That is trying 50-50 the ball across the face of an opponent. Doesn't matter what game mode you're playing in, 1s, 2s, 3s, you don't want to do that. If you walk into a dunk, the ball might just fly into your goal. Fairy Peak again with a strong kickoff possession. He's shot this one so high though. There's no way Scrub's going to jump up for this. Scrubkilla won't be able to close the distance though. And Fairy Peak versus the open net will slot it in before Scrub can get back. And I do wonder why on earth Scrub didn't challenge here. He just parked his car sideways. And we all know parallel parking is not really part of Rocket League 1v1. If it was, I would be very happy though. I used to love parallel parking. That was like the maneuver I was good at when I was doing my driving test back in the day, which was over 10 years ago, by the way. I can't believe that. I did my driving test over 10 years ago.
YouTube.
How old am I?
Just watched the marble race video number 2.
Shot by Fairy.
Keep up the good work, mate.
Yeah, thanks to all of you guys tuning in from YouTube. I appreciate y'all stopping by. That is another huge defensive blunder by Scrub though. Great placement, great power, great timing on the shot by Fairy. Scrubkilla has given him the equalizer there.
Can chat vote to Plaza?
Wait, who's better, Justin or Fairy Peak? In threes, I'd say Justin recently. But overall, in Rocket League, like if we're talking about just 1s, 2s, 3s, ranked, Fairy Peak, he's the best player. If we take just Rocket League as a general thing. We're talking about 3s competitive then, yeah. I'd say, you know, all of NRG and all of Dignitas are just way ahead of everybody right now. Look at that by Fairy. Cuts inside. Scrubkilla did not want to get caught hesitating like he did last time, but he doesn't make contact with the ball. Good adaptation by Fairy. Instead of going straight to the goal like he has been going for large portions of this series, he just turns it out and then turns it in. Scrubkilla needs to run back to goal. Is he going to get back in time? Yes, he is. Shot by Fairy, not quite on target. Scrubkilla does get the flick over the top. Very well done actually there by Scrub against a player who had far more boost in him. But Scrub's got to be careful not to overcommit here. He did this earlier, and now he's in a really awkward spot. I think Fairy's overhit the touch though. That's going to let Scrub get back involved. Fairy Peak with another ball chase. Another center ball. We're going to go to overtime. Fairy Peak 1 goal away from winning the series.
Keep up the great content, Johnny Moore.
Scrubkilla 1 goal away from game 6. It is Fairy Peak with the first play. Scrubkilla has got into a really good position though. Good read by Scrub. He would not have been in a good spot if Fairy Peak went off the wall there, but Scrub was just predicting the fact that he wouldn't. And now here goes Scrub into the air. He's 50-50'd it low, and Fairy Peak is way out the play. Scrubkilla with a really awkward bounce. Can he finish this one? No, he can't. A decent recovery, but he's again got to be so careful. Fairy Peak is going to look to cut in field and shoot that ball into the open net. Again, Fairy Peak has the opportunity. That is a boomer. That could be it. It is it. Fairy Peak has done it yet again. And Scrubkilla made it into a series, but he couldn't take more than a game. Fairy Peak with way too much power, actually forcing an own goal at the near post, but it wouldn't have mattered. Fairy was in the vicinity to tap it in regardless. What a series. What a couple of games we had at the end there for Fairy and Scrub.